So can you fix it?
I don't fix this kind of shit.
You're the repairman. I called the repairman to come and fix the toilet.
Okay, first of all, wouldn't even know where to begin. Don't you have like any broken games or systems or anything? That's what I do. I'm a repairman. I repair old video game stuff.
I have a broken Sega CD.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
So can you fix the toilet?
Fuck my life. Alright, this is what I think what the problem is. Okay, so you got like a lot of back pressure coming from like the wall where it's making the noise, so I think you got a water hammer. Alright, so I'm gonna go down there, release the valve. It should release some of the pressure, so let's see what happens with that. You know what really makes me hate my life? When you go to play a game and you turn on the system and it doesn't fucking turn on. Oh my god. Fucking bullshit. And unfortunately, one of the system's most infamous for something like this would be the Sega CD. Because a common problem that those had was the fuse inside them would burn out and you wouldn't be able to power up the system. So today I'm going to be showing you step by step in 3 easy steps how to properly replace those burnt out fuses and fix a Sega CD so you could power it up and get it going. So Dave is going to be helping us do that over at his house. And so I figured it'd be more convenient to do a video for that, since a couple of the ones on YouTube are done by these weird foreign guys. You don't know what the fuck they're talking about, what the fuck they're doing. You can't even see shit. And it's like, you don't even know if like those parts they're using are universal, if they're just, you know, only European based, you know, but this is America. We use American parts. That's what we do here. So we're gonna shoot the rest of this over at Dave's house so he can show us with his Sega CD. So let's head over there and let's do that. Okay, so here we are with Dave. We're at Dave's house. He's gonna help us take apart the Sega CD. He's gonna show us how to take out the old fuse, put in the new one, and get it all back together and power this bad boy up. So what could you tell us about the Sega CD?
Other than it's a broken piece of shit.
I rest my case.
It wasn't so bad. Some good games on it. Anybody who has one has to have Sonic CD. That's definitely the best of it. The game that will really make you hate your life is Night Trap. It's a very, very interesting, quirky, annoying-ass game.
Yeah, and I could see the adrenaline and the smoke rushing through my fucking skull right now. Thanks for that. So, anyway, with that being said, we're gonna flip the camera around, zoom in on this, and we're gonna take it apart piece by piece and show you step by step how to, you know, get this working properly again. All right, so here we go. Here's a Sega CD with all the other components of the Genesis and the 32X. I mean, just like look at this. Like shit like this just makes me really hate my fucking life. It's like look at all this shit they just have slammed together here. It just looks like ass. It's a piece of shit. Pisses me off. It's like, reminds me of like when you go to your grandparents' house and you just want to watch a video and you're trying to get to the VCR, but they have their fucking gigantic 500-pound 8-track player sitting on top of it. You can't even get to it. You can't even move around all that.
Whoa, take your anger issues outside, man. Keep in mind, this was the mid-90s. They're trying to configure something that was a little ahead of its time.
Okay, that's a bold-faced lie.
At least it's aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, and more or less words, I guess. Anyway, let's keep going. So we're going to flip this bad boy over. You know, take out the screws, pretty plain and simple, pretty straightforward. A couple of screws here you don't need to take out like the ones over here because they hold in the actual disc reading components inside, so you don't need to remove this screw over here. We got the board here with all the fuses and everything. Next to it we have the actual disc reading components with the wires coming from them. So we're just gonna pop off the wires.
I find it helpful to take pictures before you do anything, just so you can refer back to the way the configuration was before you started taking out wires.
Especially all these dumbass phones we have these days, like, oh my god, iPhone this, iPhone that, and all this other retarded shit, and oh my god, well I have my iPhone because all these awesome apps that I have. Well, fuck you, and fuck your apps.
I have the Untapped app. It's pretty cool. Keep track of what beers I drink and get badges for it. It's a good time.
Thanks, Dave. Alright, so after all that horse shit, let's just get these wires out of the way. Then that kind of frees up some more of the space to get the board out. Before you do that, you gotta get these other 2 screws out from this piece sticking up right here. So you got to remove these 2 screws. It's kind of like removing gerbils from your ass when you're having your partner stuff them up there.
Ugh, who thought to do that? Like, how did that become a thing?
What, sticking gerbils up your ass?
Yeah, like who was the first guy to be like, oh yeah, let me stick a gerbil up my ass? And then who were the fucking countless assholes that were like, yeah, that's a great idea, let me do that too?
So after you get these 2 screws out, now you can pull the board out. So we're going to be doing all the work on the board, and the fuse is F301. You can see right here, it's more towards the top where the hole is for the screw. So we're going to be doing all our work over here on this one. Alright, so here's the fuse that we're going to be working with sitting right here, and as you can see, this thing is fucking melted to all hell. Look how fucked up this is. Look how burnt this is. No wonder why this thing won't fucking turn on. Kind of looks like you had like some hooker come over to your house, and then you got into a huge fight about not paying her, and then she lit your house on fire. That's exactly what this looks like.
Did you fight a fire like that?
You know what? Actually, I did. A long time ago. I went to a trailer fire. This guy refused to pay this hooker. They got into a fight about the price and everything, and she lit his trailer on fire.
Nice. Okay, we're gonna flip this over and desolder the 2 points of the old fuse. There's a lot of videos on YouTube how to desolder. We found it easier to desolder a little bit, use needle nose pliers, and then we used this needle nose tool and poked holes through.
Right, so we're gonna start by using the needle nose pliers to break off the old solder and break off the points of the original fuse, as you can see right here. So use the needle nose pliers, break that shit off, skadoosh. Then after that, you're gonna flip it over and you're gonna grab the old fuse with the needle nose pliers and you're gonna just rock it back and forth. And just kind of grab it, rip it off. You're still going to have a little bit of the fuse points stuck in there. So you're going to flip it back over again. And you're going to take the soldering gun, make sure you know it's properly heated up and everything, and you're just going to stick it right through the holes to burn out the rest of like the solder and everything. So burn that shit out. So you're going to take the needle tool that we have here. You're just going to punch it through to clear out the holes. Just clear out the hole completely. Speaking of clearing out holes, it's like, think of when, okay, so you know like how everybody's on this whole like body cleansing bullshit kit and systems and all of that, and like they get loaded up on all this shit and then they just kind of like have these anal explosions like 24/7. That's kind of what you're doing here. So you're just taking this needle tool and you're just punching it right through and clearing all that shit out.
You need fucking help.
Alright, now since that's done, now we gotta put in the new fuse.
The new fuse is a Pico 2.5 I got off of eBay. I got the 5 for $5.
5 for $5. That's always a good deal. That's a bargain. You know, you can get a lot of great things for 5 for $5. You can get herpes. You can get syphilis. You can get crabs.
It's only 3 things. I'm on 5 steads with my $5.
Well, I mean, look at it this way. Like, if you got yourself crabs, I mean, what were you expecting for $5? Lobster?
Well played, sir.
Moving right along, we're gonna take the fuse and we gotta bend the wires down to make it fit. So, with this one, we couldn't get it to push all the way down, but we'll take care of that later. So you just want to just bend the wires down, push it through. Now with this one, it's always good to have a buddy with you for this, so that way one person can hold the fuse from the bottom and the other person can solder the top, because you got to hold the entire board for the system. So there's a lot of working things going here. You got to hold the one part, hold the other piece, do a few other things with that. You know, just like when you're doing auto asphyxiation masturbation, you know, it's always nice to have a buddy or a spotter there to watch you, to make sure, you know, just in case you actually really do pass out, you don't choke and die.
It's also good to have a buddy there, because in case you do die, he can get rid of the evidence.
Now we're talking.
That's what friends are for.
So once we get all this taken care of, now we're ready to start soldering. So you're gonna have one person, or if you can do all this with just by yourself, hold the one fuse up or put something underneath it to hold it, because like the board is like very uneven, so you're gonna have like all this space underneath that you would need something to hold it up in place. So you're going to push the wires through the holes like you're pushing a dick through the hole, like a glory hole. And like, I don't know about you, but glory holes just freak me out.
Yeah, they're pretty scary, especially when you don't know what's on the other side.
Yeah, I know, right? It could be anything. It could be a girl. It could be a guy. It could be a lion.
Yeah, any one of those three could bite your dick off. But really? A lion?
Yeah, a lion. Remember that? Inconsiderate cell phone guy? Mauled by a tiger? Don't worry, I have a million minutes.
It's pronounced karate.
Let's get this on here. Get the soldering gun. And let's start soldering. Alright, so if you need to practice, just get like a piece of cardboard or something. Just practice just playing around with the solder, just so you know like how delicate it is, how you want to spread it and get it on there, because like the solder, I keep getting stuck to the soldering gun. So you just want to find kind of like your own, easy method of doing it and spraying the solder on there. So you want to spread the solder around a little at a time, very carefully, like I was saying. And it's kind of like when you're like spreading a vagina. You want to be careful with it. You just don't want to go ahead right in there and shove a whole fist in there. Like, what are you, crazy?
What the fuck are you talking about?
So make sure you get solder all the way around the wire and that it's connected. There's solder on all sides of the wire connected to the board. Just make sure there's a full and solid connection to everything. When you flip the board back over, if there's too much space between the fuse and the board and you can still see a little bit of space in the holes from the other side, put a little bit of solder around there as well. You just want to make sure that there's a firm, solid connection all the way around and that there's no openings that you can see from the holes in the board. Okay, so as you can see, takes a couple of steps, maybe a little time involved, but in all honesty, it's kind of easy. You just have to have a little experience with the soldering thing. If you don't, just practice on like a piece of cardboard or something, just till you get the idea of like just spreading the solder around the wire. Kind of like you're gluing something in, so to speak. So as you can see, we got the fuse in here, and soldered in nice and tight on the backside. Alright, so we're going to assemble everything back together, throw a game in, and see if we can get it powered up. So in the end, me and Dave had a bet if it was actually going to work or not, and thank God he won that bet, because for a while there I was like, I don't think so. And it just seemed to be too easy, in a way. But in the end, I did get free dinner out of it, so that works. So as you can see here, powers up, you get the red blinking light, get the Sega CD background, you get Sonic shooting that all over the Sega sign, playing Mortal Kombat, and what did Scorpion say to your mother? Stay over there. Well, that's that. If you got any questions, let me know. I'd be more than happy to help out, and hopefully this was easy to follow along with. And if not, well, fuck me, right? So, see you next time.
Okay, so after we talk about putting dicks in electrical sockets, then we do what?